So I'll bring up my Twitter or my Facebook thing. Today I woke up today and I had that interaction. For those who weren't here earlier, it was just about COVID numbers. Weird, right? Someone banned me from their thing, and I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of seeing these meme news where people are reading their news from memes that with it's not true. None of this is true. I just posted, I'm voting for Trump. If you have a problem with it, love it or hate it, talk to me. I'd love to talk to you about it. Let's get this out into the open. And man, it is on fire.
There was a lot of respectful dissent.
Absolutely.
And there were some people like, I can't remember exactly what one was, but they were like later, bye, gone.
I knew you were a kook.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, I can't believe you can vote for a bigot and a racist and this person that wait. It was.
Is there a specific region for some of these people?
It is interesting that you should say that because yes, a lot of them are on the West Coast. A lot of them are along the West Coast in the Democratic zones. There's some people in New York also, which is a very Democratic area. It's like
I was talking to a friend of mine today. We were having a conversation about Black Lives Matter and stuff, and they asked me, "Are you going to vote for Trump?" And I said, "Here are several reasons why I'm leaning towards yes."
Okay.
Why I'm leaning towards yes, and the Republicans. And I talked a little bit about Section 230. I talked about identitarianism. I talked about how basically having no real good choices, but what am I going to pick? Biden? Dude's, look, Trump can at least fly a plane. He's flying it crazy. He's doing like barrel rolls and people are screaming.
Yeah.
But Joe Biden.
Man, he's smart. He knows exactly what he's doing.
No, what I mean by what Trump is doing is that like he's flying in a way that many people, whether it's because of the flight attendants screaming in their faces nonstop, people are upset, but he's flying a plane.
Yeah.
Joe Biden would fall asleep. And then the plane would just go.
Well,
let me finish this point. Basically, the response from my friend out of Chicago was interesting. Like, oh yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to vote for Biden. Blah blah blah. Like, nobody screamed in my face.
That's nice.
But I think it has to do with like the West Coast is insane. It's full of insane people.
There's a lot of people in New York too that a lot of people were posting from New York as well. But one thing that I started noticing was there was a lot of people that did post that were like, awesome, Adam. And one friend of mine in particular was from Venezuela.
Oh yeah.
And he said, I'm absolutely for Trump. I'm from Venezuela. I know what happens. I've been there. I've been through it. And I don't want this to happen here. I'm voted for Trump.
Dude.
No doubt.
They thought it couldn't happen.
But what pisses me off is a lot of them were saying, how can you vote for this racist? How can you vote for this bigot, this, homophobe? And it's like, all I can think of is like, how can you guys just hate so much when, like, the more I learn about him, what he's done for the minority communities that they don't want to talk about.
Well, so have you asked them what has he done that's racist? They always say.
What?
Well, first, he called Mexicans rapists.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then my response is like, he was talking specifically about illegal immigration and like alluding to the high rate of crime, MS-13, things like that.
Right.
He called immigrants animals. No, he was referring to cartels. Well, he banned Muslims. Well, first, the list of these countries that were considered threats was from the Obama administration, and he also included North Korea and Venezuela, which are not Muslim, plus there's several other Muslim nations that weren't banned. So,
right.
But he called it a Muslim ban. That he did. So you got to look. I always say, like, listen, man.
Does he have the tact?
Exactly.
Maybe not.
Character.
But is he doing good things as a president? Yes, definitely.
Got to give it to him, man. The economy did really well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't blame him for COVID. He did not get us into another war, and he's been trying to pull our soldiers out. And I got to admit, economics is always good. If people in this country are doing well and around the world, I'm happy. But my main thing has always been, I'm tired of having arguments about healthcare and Flint and all these things when we're literally spending money on the war machine so that we can be nation building in the Middle East.
Right. Why are we doing that?
We want to look. John Bolton's wanted to go after Iran. It's like, I love that Onion article. I mentioned it before. It's John Bolton breaks into Oval Office screaming that he's been shot by Iran, and it's a picture of him like holding his chest with his blood coming out. Yes, we get it. John Bolton said something like, next year we will be celebrating in Tehran or something like that.
That's
and then we've got
craziness.
bases in Iraq, we've got bases in Afghanistan, and there's Iran right in the middle. Yeah, we get it. We get it. Imperialist, military, whatever you want to call it. I love the people of this country who are willing to put themselves on the line to defend our ideals and our freedoms. But I'm upset that the machine is putting them in a country for nation building. We don't need to be doing that. And trust me, I know a lot about the natural gas pipelines, the Gazprom monopoly, Russia, Ukraine, Crimea, all of these things. I get it. I fall on the other side of this argument because I think it's a very weird position because it's the progressive, but also America first.
Yeah.
It was the conversation between Tulsi Gabbard and Dan Crenshaw. Should we have troops in the Middle East? Dan says, look, we really need it. There's a power vacuum. China and Russia, they could move in. Tulsi saying we got to bring our troops back. And I'm like, bringing our troops home, defending ourselves, rebuilding our roads, rebuilding our plumbing, investing in minority communities and impoverished communities to better their lives.
Yes.
This is all what we can do for our community. And one of the things we can do is we don't need to be investing in the war machine.
Absolutely.
Now, granted, a lot of that money is spent here. A lot of people don't know this. Like when they build a tank and stuff like that, there's people who work American jobs in this country. But then we're building roads. We're putting up buildings. We're building cities in these other countries. And it's like, you know what, man, look, I would love the idea of a utopian global community Star Trek future. Maybe in the future, maybe we can work towards this. But I don't believe the way is to invade a country, invade two countries, start, building other countries there. You've got to give me a better reason. And if they can't for security reasons, then you got a problem because this is a country that requires the consent of the governed. If you do not get my consent for what you're doing because you can't justify it, well, you got yourself a problem there.
Yep.
I would like to see the money invested in our troops. I would like to see it invested in such a way that our troops can be defending, protecting, and helping Americans who are in crisis. And we've got a problem going on in the Detroit area and the Flint area with water that for some reason they're not fixing. There's a lot of things that can be done to fix that.
Yep.
The reason I don't talk about it, the reason I don't make videos where I'm like, what about Flint? I'm like, because war. And that's why when I see Trump is like, I would like to get our troops out of Syria, I'm like, okay. Hey, I'm mad that he fired those missiles at Syria. When they're like, what about, Trump wants to get our troops out of Afghanistan. I'm like, here, good sir. I raise a glass, please. Yep. And then the Republicans and Democrats are like, hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. I'm like, no, don't hold up.
Yeah, why?
Why? You know what, man? There is a real concern about power vacuums and stuff like that. But listen, the biggest threat I think we face is China.
I agree.
Not Russia coming into Afghanistan or whatever this is.
Why do you think that though?
China?
Yeah. Give me your reasons.
Infiltration of our cultural institutions, of our academic institutions, manipulation of the public perception and psyche. I believe that, when you look at things like TikTok, the spying, yes, they've been engaging in espionage and subversive tactics. They've been stealing our manufacturing base. They've been stealing our intellectual property. They've been extracting our resources so they can enrich themselves, and that is hurting us. And when we had these complicit politicians, what's more dangerous than a power vacuum in the Middle East? China stealing our IP, and then American politicians giving our manufacturing away to China.
Yep.
So that the American middle class suffers, and then you end up with a decimated Michigan, which results in the collapse of the water infrastructure in places like Flint.
Yep.
So how about we come home and help our people, help marginalized communities? I'll tell you what, if the left came to me and said, we want a big push to allocate funds to saving the oppressed minorities of the Flint area, I would say 100%.
Yep.
Here's my offer. How about we take the funds from the Middle Eastern incursions, bring those soldiers home, reunite them with their families, give them a big old bonus even, because we're going to save a ton of money. And then with whatever money we have whatever we can with the military, the National Guard, go in and start fixing these things to help our own people.
Boom.
Bring our jobs back, bring our manufacturing back. The bigger threat is the loss of our economic standing. If we don't have jobs for the middle class, if they can't afford to eat, if they can't afford to buy homes, if China is buying up property on the West Coast, buying up all these houses and taking our factories away,
They are.
and our medicine, general manufacturing, then what's going to be left of this country in 20 years? Yet the obsession is we got to have soldiers in Afghanistan. It's just absolutely psychotic.
Yep.
It's stretching us too thin. It's a waste of time. So this ultimately what it comes down to. Tim, why don't you talk about these, that, or this? It's like, okay, yeah. Get them out of Afghanistan. I'll tell you what, right now, I wrote a song. Remember the song I wrote the other day in the room?
Yeah, it was great.
I wrote a punk rock song. It was called End the War, F the Imperial Fascists, Vote Donald Trump.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
This is what punk is nowadays.
If you want to end the war in the Middle East, who do you vote for? Joe Biden? No.
Right.
Donald Trump is literally trying to bring our soldiers back.
Yep.
So I'm like, this is the weirdest song you'd ever write.
He's literally trying to make our citizens stronger, smarter people.
Yeah.
Vote Republican to end the war.
Seriously.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you look at the panel that Biden is starting to kind of pull together? It would be the third
For a
term
war.
of Obama's,
Man.
presidency. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
blown up kids,
yeah,
Great.
dropping bombs on Pakistanis. Obama was just, man,
what a role model.
he was not good. He was not good. He I feel like domestically he was just, enough, average.
It's really
But he was
interesting.
charismatic.
In this movie, Uncle Tom that we were discussing earlier, it has a speech by him, and it's a great speech. I still feel like it holds true today, and he talks about America being an incredible place, and that if anyone thinks that, I don't remember his exact words, but he's basically saying if anyone thinks that you can't do anything, if you feel like you're so oppressed in this amazing country that is America, look at me right now. I am the president. And I was like, oh, good sir. And he proved it. Anyone, you can be president. Anyone can. It doesn't matter what your skin is. It matters what your character is.
That's America.
And that's what we need. That's what we cherish here. Character.
They're erasing Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream. I have a dream that one day my children will be judged not by the color of their skin, but the content of their character.
He said, I have a dream, and it is deeply rooted in the American dream.
That's what he said.
Verbatim. That's what he said. And then the rest. But it is the American dream that he was talking about. And that is not what they're doing right now.
I wonder
they're
why
trying
it
to break
is
that down.
That my great-grandparents thought they had to come to this country, that they had to flee where they were, even though this is supposedly a historically racist country.
This place is so bad, people are
Desperate to come
dying
here.
to get here.
Yep.
Dying. But it's worth it because they know that they can be free here and they can do what they want to do.
And we're basically, one of the least racist countries on the planet, if not the.
Probably.
When I went to Sweden, I learned something really interesting. I learned that they're very culturally homogenous.
True.
I don't want to say racist necessarily because they don't like other white people either. We did an interview with a woman who was from America who married a Swedish man.
Okay.
She spoke Swedish, but she had an accent. She couldn't get hired anywhere because once they would look at her resume and everything, bring her in, and then she said as soon as she would talk to them, their faces would change. Oh, where are you from? America. Oh, that's interesting. No call back.
Yeah.
They were very
Well, I mean, I've been living in Europe on and off for 15 years. So I am constantly meeting people that go, "Oh, you're American? I know everything about you."
Yeah.
Done. You what? Because I'm American, you realize America's huge, right? I counter with this. This is my favorite thing. I'm in Paris for this example, right? Someone says it to me. Oh, so you're just like that German. You're just like the Germans then. Whoa. Excuse me? No. I'm French. And I'm like,
What's the difference?
you live closer to Germany than me living. I was
To Texas.
from Chicago to Texas to California. Like, you don't understand what that means then?
Yeah.
That all Americans are the same, or all television, or all the news that makes it over here.
You go to Chicago, you talk about the Bears. And you get Jardiniera
Or the Bulls.
Oh my
the
gosh.
Bulls on their Maxwell hot dogs. You know what I'm saying? And you go to Brooklyn, and both of these guys are going to be telling you about their hot dogs and their pizza. We even talk different. I mean, it's mostly going away because of the internet.
True.
But you go down to Texas, you see cowboy hats and guns. And barbecue.
Yep.
Good barbecue. You can't get that barbecue anywhere else. You
True.
can't get Jardinera anywhere, dude.
Good
people don't-
Chardonnay. Good Chardonnay.
Yeah,
I've tried. You can't find it.
You can find it. They call
Only
it,
in Chicago.
They call it hot peppers.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Nah, get out of here.
it's
You know
not
what
the
you're talking
same.
about.
You got to get the right size cauliflower bits and.
People are probably like, "What's Jardinera?" I have no idea. What you're
Well,
talking about.
for the
That's right.
people who don't know what a Jardinere is, it's a Chicago thing.
You wouldn't understand.
Sorry.
but yeah. Well, here's the point I was making with Sweden. Sweden is supposedly this very progressive, leftward country,
Right.
And even they have prejudices.
Yeah.
They're a small, tight-knit country. It's what you say, 9 million people.
Well, they have I'm going to use the term far right, and part of their country, part of their government.
It's relative.
People, But people also say, well, look at socialism. Look at Sweden. Like, how isn't it, look at that. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's a country of 9 million
But
people.
they're not even socialist.
And they're, right.
It's capitalist market economy.
Right. It's a specific, they've found their spot, and we can't just shift, it's like.
This is what they did. This is what they say. They say Scandinavia is socialist or democratic socialist when they're not. They're market economies with welfare states, and in the instance of Sweden, they're subsidized by weapons exports.
That's true.
So it's like, I'll tell you what, if you're one of the largest weapons exporters per capita, your state is making a ton of money, you can probably afford to give a little bit to all the people, 9 million of them, in your country.
There's a reason they didn't enter World War II.
They were the weapons
I'm
dealers.
serious.
Man.
They were
that's
neutral, right?
Yeah, and you know what would be socialist? If the factories were owned by the state. Or at least partially, or even to any degree. They're not.
I don't know that much about it.
Socialism is public ownership of the means of production.
Okay.
So Bernie Sanders proposed like 20% of all company stock goes to the workers or something like that for like paying out bonuses and stuff. That's socialism.
Right.
You go, my understanding at least of like Denmark and Sweden, Norway, they don't do that. You own a business, you pay taxes.
That's interesting because I have a friend who used to work at Tesla before Elon made some moves because he was taking heat from something or other that he always does, making moves. I guess he was putting too much time into SpaceX, and the Tesla board was upset that he was losing Tesla money. So he kind of had to reformat. But what I'm talking about is a lot of the people that worked at Tesla got stocks in the company, including my friend. So even when he lost his job at the company, he still had a lot of stocks. I still think he does, which is pretty sweet, for him. So they got these stock options when working there. Yeah. So it was actually a part of his company. So that's kind of cool.
I mean, we do this. We offer options. We offer stock appreciation rights, things like that.
Yeah.
So, but if we actually said that the state owns a portion of each company, we'd be getting into socialism. Right. We don't do that. So we're mostly a mixed economy through taxes and stuff. But anyway, my ultimate point was America is not racist. Like when you,
for the most part, it's not. America is not racist. You're absolutely right. I agree.
Listen,
it's not.
When you go to start a business or open a bank account, they don't say, "I'm sorry because of your race."
Yeah.
A lot of countries do.
Maybe specific welfare systems are racist because they were set into place 45 years ago. Well, when they were mixing it, and there's a lot of
have that conversation about institutional racism.
I mean,
and it's the left that's like trying to make that happen.
You're absolutely right. I mean, even like Planned Parenthood, I learned a lot about it. Lydia has said some things that got me thinking. So I did some digging, and then sure enough, Uncle Tom, boom, they dropped a whole bunch of stuff about that specific thing about Margaret Sanger and how nasty she was.
There's an activist.
That's
website.
A nasty woman.
Yeah.
There's an activist website that's plots on a map Planned Parenthood locations.
Yep.
And it points out that 79% are within walking distance of the Black and Latino communities.
This is what
it's
Kanye
messed
was
up.
saying.
That's what Kanye was saying.
Almost 1,400 kids a day from just black mothers.
But this conversation about Planned Parenthood is very nuanced.
It is. You're right. And most things are. But go ahead.
When you talk to I talk to my almost all of my friends are left.
Yep.
When I talk to them, they don't they see these things, and to them they're like, I don't see it that way because, like, for instance,
my body, my right.
When I talk to my left-wing female friends, they say, I have no job, I have almost no money because COVID, and I was able to go there for free healthcare. They didn't go there for abortions or like that, and they were like, if it wasn't for them, I'd be in serious trouble.
Well, and that's when we first kind of talked about it. I was like, they do more things than just this. It's not, it's more. Like I got tested, because everyone should get tested, for whatever any STDs or whatever. And it's like, I did that, and
here's the important point.
It was great.
Listen, if there are people who need service and they can't afford it, and Planned Parenthood provides that, excellent. I'm happy they do.
Yeah.
If black activists are saying they feel threatened because they think these institutions are targeting them, then I think we need to listen to what they have to say, especially if you believe in Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
If these people come to you and say, please listen, your response should be, I'm listening. That's what they say, right? They say you should be listening to what these activists have to say. So I respect it.
Yeah,
I do.
Definitely.
But also the same thing is true for my female, left-leaning friends when they're like, I was in desperate need and they helped me. Mm-hmm. I respect that too.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation and figure out what we need to do as a country to come together. I understand everyone's got grievances. we have to learn how to function properly as, two wings of the same eagle.
Yep.
Otherwise, Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.